ជំនោស្វាយរៀងនាងខ្ញុំសូមផ្ញើសរសៀងតាមបទចម្រៀងសំនាងដួងចិត្តអោកយត្របែកអណែកអាណិតវាស្នាសង្សាបានចិត្តបេះដូងក្រៀមស្វិតឥតនៃខ្លឹមសារវត្តព្រៃឆ្លាំងអ្នកជាកាំងសិនជួបបងតាំងពីភ្ជុំបិណ្ឌរងចាំកថាមីឆ្អិនសន្យាបោផាវិលយន្តចាញ់មុនស្នេហានិសិតកំរិតបាំងរិញ្ញាលោកឡើយផ្លែផ្កាឲ្យអូនលងស្នេហ៍បងអូនអូនឈរីដៃរសៀសូរយ៉ាងលាថ្ងៃមើលភៀងប្រថ្លៃវិស័យដួងខាតនលែបៃកោចំនោថ្នមស្នារាត្រីក្រំពុនលើខែជីតូកលំហែពីនាងរៀមរាវាសនារំដួលប្រែប្រួលមិនទៀងអង្គនិចាបោផាស្វាយរៀងជួនភ្លៀងច្រៀងរឿងព្រេងឆាអូនទៅបាវិតបងឥតមេត្តាសូមផ្ដាច់ចំណងស្នេហាខិតខំធ្វើការយកប្រាក់ជូនមកអូនឈរីដៃរសៀសូរយ៉ាងលាថ្ងៃមើលភៀងប្រថ្លៃវិស័យដួងខាតនលែបៃកោចំនោថ្នមស្នារាត្រីក្រំពុនចាយតិចណាស់ជីតូកលំហែពីនាងរៀមរាស្នារំដួលប្រែប្រួលមិនទៀងអង្គនិចាបោផាស្វាយរៀងជួនភ្លៀងច្រៀងរឿងព្រេងឆាអូនទៅបាវិតបងឥតមេត្តាសូមផ្ដាច់ចំណងស្នេហាខិតខំធ្វើការយកប្រាក់ជូនមក
đây cho chú ăn chú nôm cho chú ăn chú nôm cho chú ăn chú nôm dân đó
rice area ណាអាមេរិកតែប៉ុណ្ណឹងទៅប៉ូលីសបានទៅមុនហ្នឹងឲ្យបើមុនជួយទឹកજાયថាតាក់សាំងចូល
មើលសិនវិញ
ចេញពី rice area ហើយ សាំងនៅនេះថោកបាន4រៀលបាច់ទៅដល់អ៊ីតាលីផ្ទះផ្អៀង
You recorded it
ផ្ទះហ្នឹងផ្អៀង
Excuse me
Yeahផ្ទះផ្អៀងផ្ទះហ្នឹងកន្លែងហ្នឹងកន្លែងផ្អៀងផ្ទះហ្នឹងមិនផ្ទះផ្អៀងមកផ្អៀងផ្ទះហ្នឹង
Why are we parking here?
Wait, are we down one or what are we doing?
Walk around
ចាណាគេចតឡាននេះសាហាវ
I need to put my stuff on.
រូបស្អីគេនេះឲ្យស្មើជួដៃយកអូអត់តបិទទ្វារបង Nelly, Kaylee. GoPro, stop recording. Ta túc chạy sao cao đây.
see that man in blue? Blue head
minimum while we're on the mic, just so everybody can hear what's being said. We got a lot of cool stories and facts about the rocks and the river, the history here. We really like it so everybody can hear. It's kind of like being at a play or at a theater. So you can do all those. It should be a pretty good trip. Also, we like to keep our boats as clean as we can. We don't always completely succeed because there's usually a lot of people on that. But if you can just use the garbage cans on the back of the boat when you're done, that'd be fantastic. Now, speaking of this river, does anybody know what this river is? Which one it is? Not the Dells River, no. Wisconsin River, yeah, just use the other word of the name. Now for starters, bottom deck, how are we doing today? Awesome. Back deck, can I get a wave? I see you guys back there. Now top deck, we can't really see you or hear you down here, but can you do a little tap tap on the floorboard to let us know you're doing good today? Alright, well I'll be your guide here today. Once again, my name is Chase. A little bit about myself. I'm from Portage, Wisconsin, which is a small town about 15 miles east here of the Dells. So I guess that makes me somewhat of a lifetime local here. If you got any questions about restaurants, other attractions, or how to get somewhere, I should be able to come with an answer for you. Plus, I'm also really good at making stuff up, so you probably will know the difference. That was a joke. I tell a lot of those. I'm just finishing up my senior year of high school. Graduate this Friday, so I'm pretty excited about that. Decided to start my summer out here at the Dells Boat Tours. I've been working here my third summer. I've worked the last 2 summers as a guide. Even though I am guiding now, I'm working on training to be a pilot soon, so really excited about that. My post high school plans are to go to the University of Wisconsin. Walking between the sandstone cliffs, the cooling effect back there is about 15 to 20 degrees. like to refer to that as our natural air conditioning out here. But at this time, though, if you take a look off to the side of the boat and take a good look at that watercolor, you may notice that it's sort of got a brownish tint to it. Many may think that's because of pollution, but it's not. It's actually a relatively clean river, but it's due to a natural substance in the water called tannin, or tannic acid. It's deposited by the roots of tamarack trees in old swamp in northern Wisconsin. Gives it its brown color once again, but it may sound like a harmful substance, but it's actually harmless to plants, wildlife, and humans. You actually have consumed some of this tannic acid as found in common breakfast beverages such as cold coffee and tea. 8 to midnight or morning winds also found in Jack Daniels and red wine. We had a good morning and a good Bible game. Now we got our first wildlife sighting. Off to the left, you'll see a bald eagle. The tallest tree on the left-hand side. About 15 feet down to the top. Sitting on White Branch Bend. Watching that thing that's pretty good out. To really replace the battery. Just below the eagle there, off to the left, you'll notice that there's sort of a channel that branches out there. That is the old riverbed. You cannot travel down there. It's by far way too shallow for the big boats. Like the Joliet, I'm sure you guys don't feel like getting out and pulling a 40-ton beach boat today. Well, just in front of the boat here, this piece of land, this is Black Rock Island. It's just over 210 acres, the largest island we have out here in the Wisconsin River. Native to every creek here in the state of Wisconsin. It's currently used for research purposes nowadays, like school groups, Boys and Girl Scouts, 4-H clubs, and any other university. It's named after Black Hawk, just like the Black Hawk profile. During the Black Hawk War, it was believed that Black Hawk was here in this island hiding from the U.S. government troops, but that turned out to be nothing but a rumor. He actually never stepped a foot on this island. He was captured about 30 miles south here. But ever since that rumor started, it has been referred to as Black Hawk Island. Now, protruding out of Black Hawk Island here on the left-hand side, there are two rock formations similar in size, shape, and vegetation. Because of the close proximity, we like to call these the twin sisters. First sister we're passing just on our left-hand side in about the 10 o'clock position. The second one's 75 yards down from that one. It's got a white sign with an orange ring around it. Now, Ben actually had the pleasure of naming these two sisters, believe it or not. He likes to call that first one over there Kate. And then the second one he likes to call Duplicate. You know, personally, if I were naming them, I would name them their brothers. I call them Pete and Ricky. Yes, I know the jokes tend to be a little cheesy out here in Wisconsin. Now just off to the right there, that is Chapel Gorge, where the river sort of shallows out. It's known for its wedding-like setting, how the trees on the sand and the boulder rocks there. However, I do not recommend getting married there at Chapel Gorge, because you know as people say, a marriage that starts in the rocks, ends on the rocks. Alright, well just now entering this portion of the river called the Narrows. The state of Wisconsin nowadays, mainly for its cheese, cows, milk apples, other things like that. But back in the early 1800s, this state was solely known for its lumber industry. Had a big importance to trade and commerce in this area, especially here in the Wisconsin Delta. Now, lumber rafts is what they were called. They were hired to stand up on the rafts of high lumber and float them down the river to all the major lumber yards along the way. They especially traveled through this 12-mile stretch of the Wisconsin Delta. But when they endured their journey through the dells here, Kirby on the Narrows was considered the most dangerous part of their journey. What made this area so dangerous is because back in the day, before the Kilcorn Dam was built, the water over here was 17 feet shallower and had 35-mile-per-hour currents, and with the lumber raft referred to as the Devil's Elbow. The Devil's Elbow is a 9-degree bend here in front of the boat, takes a sharp left-hand turn to the river. And what made this area so dangerous for the lumber rafts was when they traveled down through the narrows, the rafts would be caught in that heavy current and had no way to steer the rafts. So the sharks meant to be bent here at the Delta Zone would send crash into the rocky shoreline, us losing the raft, and maybe even their lives. Now once until those Leroy Gates with a standing river pilot hired by the lumber rafts to get him safely through the narrows here, he never lost a raft or life while his time serving as a standing river pilot. Now, you put up the very first business card or billboard here in the Dells promoting his standing river pilot business. You'll see this billboard or business card off to the left-hand side. It's carved on the side of a sandstone slab 6 feet above the water, just below his tree branches, 2 rows of 8-inch lettering. It's a little bit difficult to see as it has aged throughout the years. It might be easier to see with or without your sunglasses on. You might be able to pick some words off the side of that rock there, maybe the words Dells or River. But the whole inscription there reads Leroy Gates, Dells, and River Pilot from 1849 to 58. We actually consider that our first vandalism act on the rocks out there. I guess it's not so smart to leave your name on the carving on. Now we ended up with a mud now. Alright, well, a little bit more about Leroy Gates is that when he was done with his Dave River Pilot business, he wanted to take all of his knowledge of the river and turn that into his very first tour boating business. So he kind of started these tours, but his tours were only a little bit different back in the day. What you do is you need Leroy Gates at his private docks, and in there you only need 2 corners, and he'd hand you 2 oars. And then from there you head on to Wisconsin for about 8 hours, while Leroy Gates simply sat underneath his umbrella, sipping his cold lemonade and talking stories of the river. We like to think our trips nowadays are a little more accommodating and surprising. Now something I always found pretty interesting was back there, right above the inscription, was the very first bridge to ever stretch across the river here in the Dells. It was operated as a toll bridge by Leroy Gates' father, Schuyler Gates. So, being a toll bridge, every time a settler would cross that bridge, they would have to pay a toll. The wagon would pay a toll. But each chicken would take, they'd have to pay a toll. Now, it was said to be so popular that nowadays, landowners can still show you wagon wheel ruts to the ground from over 150 years later. That bridge actually tore down back in the 70s. We like to call it Lover's Lane. So if you're sitting next to a loved one, now would be the time to lean in and give a nice, crisp $20 bill. How are you expecting that? Well, if you take a look off to the right, there's a set of stairs. A lot of people ask where that set of stairs goes. Turns out it goes nowhere. It stays there all year long. But just up in the shoreline there is Chula Vista Resort. Now, Chula Vista in Spanish for beautiful views. I think we all can agree. There are plenty of beautiful views out here on the Wisconsin River. Now, actually wasn't always so beautiful, however, because back before the Great Depression, businesses were actually flooding the Wisconsin River shoreline. They're putting in buildings, stops, shops, saloons, hotels, all around here to give you an idea what's starting to look like what the downtown Dells looks like today, just out on the shorelines out here. Once the Great Depression hit, however, a man named George Crandall came around and he purchased 90% of this land for as little as $1 an acre. He turned on all those buildings, stock shops, saloons, hotels, planted thousands of trees, preserved the land, and gave it to the use we now see today. So we're very thankful for George Crandall. He believed that no man can own the Dells, and he wanted to preserve its natural beauty. So the way anybody traveling this area can enjoy the beautiful scenery we have out there in the river. Now this land was passed down to George Crandall's ancestors for several decades, and then they eventually passed it on to the Wisconsin Alumni Research Foundation. And from there, it went to the Wisconsin DNR back in the 90s. And it's still owned by the Wisconsin DNR and preserved in the state natural area. There's no trespassing is allowed on these rocks, as we're trying to preserve them for as long as possible. Now it's going to be about 7 minutes here before we arrive at the Witch's Gulch. So chilling, you folks sit back and relax. And we'll be there about 10 minutes, so I'll be making my way around the boat for any questions you may have for me. Just feel free to ask me, because I'm always happy to answer them. So right up. Now we're gonna play a little game. You guys like games, right? It's called Stump the Tour Guide. So the reward is $5. You can ask Chase a question. run by a bus. I mean, a boat.
Yeah, maybe.
Is that a car?
啊，这个好漂亮。
That's a bed.
你照张相，让他们可以过去。第一个夫妻，快点。第一个 lover，the lover 是。啊，他这样正好。哎 ，All right, 1, 2, 3。再来一个。
Kiss.
太漂亮
Give me a kiss.
这相机给我。再过来，再来。这就是仨狗两个。Second couple。
我们来一个。
OK。来，好了。
哎。
进展。
你。
爸爸，你要进展吗？这得有40头。我就给你照一张。
Phạt phá vào trời đó mới phạt phá thua. Cái gì đó?太难了，这后边还有好多羊。哎，回家了。哇！
拍照，别动。好，咱们好，慢点来。
Chết chừng kìa. Chị màu đây, chị.
little food. For now approaching Sand Rock here. Now this walk is going to be a little bit different from the one you just partook in the gulch there. This is going to be a C-shaped pattern walk, meaning once you start somewhere you will not be retracing your steps. You're going to be following the path all the way through to a different dock. So we're going to be docking on this dock directly in front of the boat. And then over here at Sand Rock, Ben is going to be moving the boat over to that dock off to the left there where you see that boat right now. So he's making a C shape there. I know this may be confusing, getting dropped off at one dock and getting picked up on the other, but to me it's just a pair of docks. Just again, while we're docking here though, just wait for that verbal signal before you stand up and head on shore. And you can follow me up to Sand Rock. We'll give a brief presentation and we'll go up into the cliffs here now. There's a fair warning, this walk is a little bit more difficult and strenuous a walk than the Witch's Gulch, although it's about the same distance. There's about a steep incline here for approximately 50 yards, I'd say. So if you wish to now partake in this walk, you're more than welcome to stay back here on the boat and relax. Now we take a look at the dock though in front of us. There's no railing from the door to the right hand side. So if you got any small children or irresponsible husbands with you on board here today, just hold their hand as they're walking on the dock. On that, welcome to Sand Rock.
Jelly lagi apa?
Hả? Thực ra là lô cả.
And him and Bill, we built from Mendota, and they would still photography.
GoPro, stop recording.
Nhưng mà cái lô đó mà không sao.
Alrighty, everybody. Once again, welcome to Stand Rock. Nice place oftentimes referred to as the birthplace of stop action photography. A little bit about why that is if I can direct your attention to this photo of me jumping across Stand Rock back in 1874. I just aged really well, that's the case. Now, this photo was taken by H.H. Reddick. Now, I mentioned that he sort of discovered the Witch's Gulch and took the first photos of the Witch's Gulch. But he was always inspired by the movement with the lumber rasp to capture stop-action photos and stop-action photography. Well, that was not a thing back in the 1870s. See, the best way to take a photo back then was with a camera, but you actually had to keep everything still in the picture frame for about 5 full minutes for a fully developed photo to occur. And actually, any movement in that 5 minutes would have a blurry photo as the end result. It took 5 minutes for the camera to focus and snap that photo. Now, he invented what is called the snapper, which is rubber bands in a cigar box. It allows light to pass through. It's known as a shutter nowadays in all of our cell phones. And he was able to capture stop-action photos for the very first time in history. Now, his very first one was actually by the Narrows there. It was between 2 lumber raspen tossing a rope to one another, and he was able to capture that rope in midair. However, when he took that photo, he just showed the rest of the town. Nobody believed him. They said it was fake and that the rope was held up by wire. Now, he had to prove all those folks wrong, of course, so what he did was he took a snapper and his camera, climbed up on that rock ledge behind you folks, and like any good father would, he sent his 15-year-old son, Ashley Bennett, up to Stand Rock and told him to jump. They had to jump not once, not twice, but 17 times before he was able to capture this photo you folks see here today. He did enter this photo in a national photo contest in New York where he won first prize for obvious reasons. Now, other people attracted the scenery from all around the country of here in the Dells, and he brought all these tourists from all over the country to these very own boat tours. That's sort of how he became the big tourist attraction that we are today. Now, back today as tour guides, we're required to go up there and jump across for you folks. There's a ladder right inside there. And also anybody else in the tour who wanted to go up there with me, they could jump across too. It's 5.5 feet apart, the rocks. But they banned that back in the 50s due to insurance reasons. So the dogs just kind of took that part of the job over for me. Looks like now is going to be jumping for you folks today. If you want to get your phones, cameras, now would be a time to try to recreate that photo. I always recommend taking a video though, because you can always screenshot it later. I'll let them know when you're ready. Okay, we're ready. Did we get one question out? I was an expert at this jump. She's been doing it for 3 years. She started making it the jump right when I started working here. So we've been in the company the same amount of time. Now from here, we're going to be taking the path to the left-hand side. And you're going to go up an incline, past that incline. You're going to be met by a building. It's kind of like the stop of the hills. From there, it's all downhill, but there's a
GoPro stop
stand and
recording.
a restroom in that building. From there,
Yeah.
okay, buddy. Number 2 is GWO. You know this.
This way I go. This way. I don't want to be one.
Chưa hả? Chưa hả?
Ớt chọc nhá.
Chưa hả? Chưa hả?
Right, you know. And I'm thinking, you know, it's most likely though in the winter when the water gets in there and expands, it just pushes it off.
But see,
Yeah.
look here. It's over the this part here. So
You know, all into they sweep underneath here.
kanya cho ra một tầm. Cameraman, miền châu, miền châu, thì